Heavy rain and thunderstorms are still in the forecast for Wednesday, but there's been some significant changes in the track of our weather system. I'll discuss in a couple moments.
And 3 people are dead after a shooting in Janesville, how community members there are reacting. Plus, 2 people are in custody after a hazmat incident in Madison near campus. The latest details in an ongoing Department of Justice investigation. It's all ahead on News 3 Now at 10. And good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Eric Franke. Sarah Carlson is off tonight. Alert day conditions are in the forecast, but as Alex just said, things are changing a bit with the timing of this weather system and where it may be headed, Alex.
That's all right. It may be starting a little bit later, Eric, not getting into the area till we start getting more into the mid-morning, going into the afternoon as opposed to earlier in the morning. And the track is shifting a little bit towards the south. Nonetheless, alert day conditions still a possibility for areas south and east of Madison, down towards Janesville, over towards Beloit, over towards Elkhorn. That's the greater area of the potential for some heavy rain and perhaps a strong thunderstorm as we go into Wednesday. Latest updates here with precipitation amounts, and this is consistent with multiple weather models giving about a ½ inch to an inch across much of southern Wisconsin, but that more concentrated area of heavy rain setting up south and east of Madison in an area that needs the heavy rain, mind you, because they are dealing with drought conditions. We'll be keeping a very close eye on this track change. A couple thunderstorms down between Janesville over towards Darien, and as we move off to the west, an area of showers and a couple of rumbles of thunder around the Belleville area towards the Monticello area. These are pulse up and down showers and thunderstorms. Another area of showers and thunderstorms in northwest Illinois that's going to move to the north and to the east. If it can hold itself together, we'll be making it over towards Greene and Rock and Walworth counties, hopefully holding together to give you some badly needed rainfall as you all are dealing with moderate drought conditions. Coming up in Maine weather, we're going to take another fresh look at our alert day storm system track, other storms that we have in the forecast, and a very hot weekend ahead. How high those heat index values are going to go, I'll let you know in a few moments.
Alex, thank you. 3 people are dead, 1 person in critical condition after shots were fired at an apartment complex in Janesville. That apartment complex sits at the corner of North Pontiac Drive and Holiday Drive, just south of Highway 14. For what we know about the incident, our Maddie Heims brings us to the scene.
Neighbors, community members, and even family members gathered outside the Aspen Square apartments behind me today for an incident that police said started as a family problem and turned into deadly gunshots.
Officers entered the complex and into an apartment upon their arrival. They located 3 adult victims deceased from gunshot wounds. There was 1 adult victim who had suffered a critical gunshot wound injury.
That 4th person was transported to Mercy Hospital in Janesville, leaving 3 dead, 1 with critical injuries, and an entire community with questions.
I seen him putting crime tape up, and then I'm going, oh, what's going on?
Neighbors tell me police presence on their street is something they're not familiar with.
I've been here over 10 years. And nothing has ever happened like this before.
It's a very quiet place. We're very happy here.
In a neighborhood they say is filled with families and young kids.
A lot of young people around, especially with the park. Nothing's gone on like this.
Janesville police say each of the victims were adults and there were no children in the unit at the time of the shooting.
There were children in the building, not that particular apartment.
Police Chief Chad Pearson adding that the incident was not drug-related, but leaving most details to the ongoing investigation.
That's pretty close to home, you know? Yeah, very quiet. It's never had any trouble here at all.
Reporting in Janesville, I'm Maddie Heims, News 3 Now.
And 2 people are in custody amid a Wisconsin Department of Justice investigation, a hazmat investigation here in the city of Madison. The owner of the home on North Spooner Street, that's just a couple blocks west of Camp Randall Stadium, Paul Dustin Van Dyne, is facing tentative charges for attempted first-degree homicide and stalking. He's not been officially charged. We do not know the identity of the other suspect who is in custody. This incident is connected to the hazmat investigation that happened on West Skyline Drive yesterday. Officers say there's no threat to the public, but crews were performing emergency decontamination out of an abundance of caution today. One neighbor we spoke with says he's never seen anything like this.
Eventually, I was watching with my roommate through our windows, our house here, and the decon truck came up, and they were got to a point where they got everybody dressed in like essentially hazmat, more or less, and then went up to the building and executed what was a search warrant, it looked like.
Now, this is a multi-jurisdictional investigation. DOJ working with the Madison PD, the fire department as well, and the Middleton Police Department. Tonight, Dane County voters in District 1 in downtown Madison decided who will fill a vacant seat on the Dane County Board of Supervisors. Legislative Assistant Colin Baruchak has been narrowly elected to the spot with just more than 51% of the vote. He ran against Law Office Manager Adrian Lampron. Affordable housing, a key issue here in this race. Former District 1 Supervisor Elizabeth Doyle said she resigned because she could no longer afford rent in that downtown district. The Wisconsin Supreme Court has struck down a GOP law weakening the Attorney General's powers. You may recall this issue a few years ago. The court ruled unanimously 7-0 that requiring the Attorney General to get permission from a legislative committee to settle certain civil lawsuits was unconstitutional. Those laws were signed by former Governor Scott Walker back in December 2018, after Governor Tony Evers and Attorney General Josh Kaul defeated their Republican incumbents in November that year, including Governor Walker. The Supreme Court said the legislature cannot assume for itself the power to execute a law that it wrote. Wisconsin's powerful budget writing committee back in action today. News 3 Now political reporter Will Keneally with more from the state capitol.
Possibly the biggest news today was what was not in the state budget. Lawmakers punted on the Universities of Wisconsin system, likely over some infighting in the Republican caucus, instead focusing on public safety.
We are making significant investments in ADA positions.
Lawmakers on the legislature's powerful budget writing committee approved a slate of new prosecutors. That included, from our viewing area, a new prosecutor each in Dane and Grant counties and a part-time position in Crawford County.
42 new ADA positions. It's going to take us to 80% of the staffing that's required in the staffing study that the DAs have done. And that's going to do a lot to help fight crime and make our communities safer. And that's certainly been a top priority for both of our caucuses.
This comes as lawmakers approved budgets for various public safety agencies, prosecutors and public defenders for one, as well as the Department of Corrections. In addition to the new positions, the committee approved pay raises for prosecutors as well. During the session, though, Democrats argued Republicans were letting some of the positions funded by federal dollars lapse.
But by taking away and adding 42, but only adding them in the places that were previously identified, I think that there's a real kind of gimmicky math shifting around.
Now, as we track the budget process, we learned yesterday that one Republican senator said that he is a no vote on the state budget. That makes it a very narrow margin for Republicans to get it passed without any Democratic support. Reporting in the state capitol, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
Will, thank you. And the Budget Writing Committee also took up the emergency response part of the state budget, including a green light for more funding for local hazmat teams like the one we saw respond today here in Madison. Well, some J.P. Morgan credit card customers can expect to see a dramatic increase in fees this fall. Today, the bank and Chase announced the annual fee on its Sapphire Chase Reserve credit card will cost $775 a year. That's a more than $200 increase from the current annual fee, but card users will get some new perks, including a $300 annual credit for tickets purchased on StubHub. The new annual fee and benefits begin on October 26th. Auto industry observers see car prices holding steady despite tariffs. Edmunds.com found the price paid for new cars last month dipped 0.2% on average compared to April. That's after auto sales climbed in March as some consumers sought to get ahead of the tariffs. Commerce Department data showed car and auto parts sales slid 3.5% in May from April, a big part of an overall pullback in retail sales.
By having fewer consumers say, let's go to dealership right here, right now, buy a car, it does prolong how long it will take before the tariffed cars show up.
Now, Edmunds adds that automakers may wait until the new model year, typically in early fall, to pass along those added costs. Americans had a tighter grip on their wallets last month overall. The Commerce Department says that U.S. retail sales fell by 0.9% in May from the prior month. The May reading represents the steepest monthly decline since January. Tariffs could be the reason. In early spring, Americans rushed to purchase those big-ticket items, sending retail sales surging, but spending has since been reined in. Many of our pets, of course, are like family, and that sentiment never felt more real than when one local family's dog needed an emergency surgery. This is Pepper, a 3-year-old lab mix who lives with her loving owners in Fitchburg. And about a year ago, Pepper started having some health complications, and it was later discovered she had a fungal infection in her kidneys. To the family's delight, a human urologist and a team of veterinarians teamed up to save Pepper.
We had just found out that the fungal infection that Pepper had was kind of causing all of this, that we didn't have any answers to the past, 6 months or so.
It truly moved us in ways that we can't really describe even to this day. Like, we had no idea the level of which they would go to save her.
Pepper's owners say they'll have to continue to manage her infection, but they, along with the doctors, say she has made big strides in her recovery. Folds of Honor is an organization that gives scholarships to families of fallen or disabled servicemen and women and first responders. Its Wisconsin chapter held a fundraiser at University Ridge Golf Course, continuing their goal of helping those families in need. And our Jalen Banks highlights their efforts.
Honor and sacrifice. Those are the two words you'll hear a lot at University Ridge Golf Course on Tuesday, as Folds of Honor Wisconsin looks to raise money for scholarships for families of fallen or disabled servicemen and first responders at the Madison Wingman Open.
Whether it's our first responders or whether it's our military, less than 1% of our population suits up every day to protect our communities and protect our country. And to be able to honor their families for their sacrifices is something that I think is really cool.
Last year alone, the chapter had 84 scholarship applications and were able to give out 46 of them. And since 2007, they've been able to give over $1 million in scholarships.
Well, we want to honor them, obviously, for their sacrifice. That's number one. But to be able to, through their children, keep that legacy alive and have them remember what their father did for our country, I think is an important part of it as well.
Now, of course, families will always remember their loved ones who have fallen. But this is a sign that the citizens they fought for still uphold their sacrifice.
For them, the most important thing I think that we hear back is that they know that they're not forgotten, they're not alone, and that other people that they don't even know really appreciate the sacrifice that their family has gone through to support and protect our freedoms.
For now, reporting in Madison, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
And if you'd like more information on the organization, just head to foldsofhonor.org. Well, after the break at 10, immigration raids are set to resume at job sites. Plus, could the U.S. join Israel in launching strikes against Iran? The recent signs from Washington that the president is weighing that option.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
The Department of Homeland Security has reversed course on guidance limiting immigration raids. ICE officials told field office leaders to continue raids at farms, hotels, and restaurants. That is a change from guidance issued just days earlier under pressure from certain industries that rely on migrant workers. Operations have put a chilling effect on some industries that heavily rely on the immigrant workforce. Well, there are growing signs that President Trump is now weighing the possibility of the U.S. military getting involved in the conflict between Iran and Israel. Torian Small now with the latest from Washington.
Amidst rising tensions between Israel and Iran, the president held a national security meeting Tuesday in the White House's Situation Room. CBS News has learned President Trump is now weighing whether to join Israel in striking Iran's nuclear sites, including Fordo, several hours south of Tehran. Israeli airstrikes have targeted the facility, but only this 30,000-pound American bunker buster bomb delivered by B-2 bombers would have the power to destroy it.
It's designed to penetrate to quite a significant depth before it actually goes off, and then to generate a large, burst after that.
Despite previously saying the U.S. would not intervene directly in Israel's conflict with Iran, the president posted to social media, quote, "We now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran." He said in a separate post that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is a, quote, "easy target." The president continues to call for Iran's unconditional surrender.
The cities have been blown to pieces and lost a lot of people. They should have done the deal. I told them, do the deal.
Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are concerned that American forces could be drawn into the conflict, with many emphasizing that under the Constitution, only Congress has the power to declare war.
The president's instincts are good, and I'm hoping the president will not get involved with the war. I think if the United States actively bombs Tehran, the possibility of negotiation goes out the window.
Late Monday, the president issued a warning urging people to evacuate Tehran. On Tuesday, the streets of Tehran were jammed as many struggled to leave the city. Torian Small, CBS News, Washington.
Well, the State Department has established the Middle East Task Force to offer assistance to Americans in the region. Alert day conditions on the way. Heavy rainstorms in the forecast tomorrow, but that track may be changing, right, Alex?
It is just a little bit, trending a little bit more to the south, which is good news from the severe weather standpoint. Maybe not such a good news from the waterfall or from the rainfall standpoint. Lesser amounts of rain expected north and west of the Dells. Areas that really need that rain still looking like a good inch to an inch and a half, especially along the Wisconsin-Illinois border. Hopefully the weather system doesn't continue to move more towards the south and towards the east. And I'll explain a little bit more why this is happening in just a moment here. Alert day conditions, southeast Wisconsin for Wednesday, provided that we still have that threat for some strong storms. We'll keep an eye on the weather models overnight tonight. If the strong storm threat is going to push more towards the southeast, and it looks like this is just going to be more in the way of heavy rainfall with more in the garden variety type thunderstorms, non-severe thunderstorms, we probably will eliminate the alert day conditions heading for Wednesday, but keep that heavy rain chance in the forecast. Radar 3000 right now across southern Wisconsin. A few showers to the northwest of Madison. A couple of isolated showers near Janesville. We're keeping an eye on an area of showers to the few claps of thunder over northwestern Illinois that's going to make it off towards the north and towards the east and bring a few showers and thunderstorms towards areas near the Wisconsin-Illinois border. They will fizzle a bit as they move towards the north and east, but some heavy rainfall, frequent lightning, and maybe some small hail and gusty winds not out of the question. Here's how alert day Wednesday will likely unfold now. Coming together a little bit later, more towards noon, with the heaviest rainfall right along U.S. Highway 151 in areas off towards the south and towards the east. Can't rule out a strong storm for areas Janesville over towards Elkhorn, but right now indications are this weather system is going to move, as I mentioned, a little bit more to the south and east. And that is not shocking when you have a weather system that is comprised, meaning it has a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity in it. If it's a large enough weather system, the rotation of the earth takes that weather system a little bit more towards the south and towards the east, and that's what I think we're seeing here with our weather system on Wednesday. Nonetheless, still expecting scattered showers and thunderstorms with some heavy rainfall across the area, especially along U.S. Highway 151, ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch, perhaps upwards of an inch to an inch and a half, Monroe over to Janesville over towards Elkhorn. And they'll take the rain because they're still dealing with drought conditions. So, bottom line, few storms overnight tonight. Our alert day weather system tracking a bit on the south side for Wednesday. We're going to keep those storm chances Thursday going on into Friday, and we'll hopefully get a decent enough rain to help maybe put a little bit of a dent in that drought for areas right along the Wisconsin-Illinois border. More rain chances Thursday night and Friday night as a warm front lifts into the area, and then again next week is looking quite on the unsettled side. Any strong storms that we get between tonight through Friday night, gusty winds and hail would be the main threats. After a hot weekend, good chances for rain again next week, so we will turn unsettled, and we're going to need that rain after temperatures in the 90s over the weekend. Heat index values, this is the feels like factor you need to prepare for now. Saturday going into Sunday will be approaching 100 degrees. We'll have some sports when we return.
It's been a historic season for Fenimore baseball. They went perfect through the Swall to claim a conference crown and then won a regional and sectional title to advance the state for the first time. Now the Golden Eagles are 2 wins away from more history, the program's first state championship. Up first, it's Kewanee in the Division III state semifinals. 4th inning, down 2-0, and here comes Fenimore. 2 on for Gianni Filardo, and the freshman does his job. The sac fly cuts that lead in half. Now the Storm would add 3 more in the 5th to take a 5-1 lead, and the Eagles would answer again. Corey Drayson drops one into the outfield, capping off a 2-run inning to make it a 2-run game. But that's the closest they'd get. Fenimore's historic season comes to an end, 5-3, the final.
Just said, hey, we got here. I mean, and this is tough. We didn't play our best game. We certainly did not. You know, and we're on the biggest stage we can get to. But we did a lot of things this year that no one in Fenimore has ever done. 25-4 is an incredible record. We got to state. I've been working with these guys and teaching these guys baseball for 10 years now. So I love them all like sons, and I'm going to miss him. I'm really going to miss him.
And down in Division 4, thanks to a 4-run 6th inning, Johnson Creek took down Pittsville to advance to Thursday's final. The Blue Jays will look to take home their first state baseball championship since 2007. Well, that's a wrap of our coverage from Fox City Stadium on day 2 of the state baseball tournament. We'll send it back to the studio.
A great day for baseball up there. And tonight, the Brewers begin a big 3-game series against the Chicago Cubs today in Milwaukee at AmFam Field, as seen on our sister station TVW Channel 3.2. Isaac Collins sent one to right field to get the Brewers a 2-0 lead, but it wasn't enough. Seiya Suzuki with the big 3-run homer a little later. The Cubs went up at that point 4-2. That proved to be the difference. Cubs win 5-3. Your final, same 2. Back at it tomorrow in Milwaukee at 7:05. Stay with us. Alex is back next. A final look at your forecast after the break.
Tonight on The Late Show.
Sorry about that.
5-second rule. I can still eat it. Colbert's All New with Nate Bargatze. CBS tonight.
Well, the 2025 World's Most Livable Cities list has been released, and it features a bit of an upset. The Danish capital, Copenhagen, is taking the top spot, dethroning Vienna. Vienna had been on top for the past 3 years. It's now tied with Zurich, Switzerland for second place. Australia's Melbourne kept its 4th place spot with Switzerland's Geneva rounding out the top 5. The highest U.S. city on the list, by the way, not Rockford, like our producer said, Honolulu, Hawaii, which came in at number 23. I'm guessing the weather in Honolulu may have played a role in most livable city out there. Our weather, something to keep an eye on the next day or so.
For sure. That track in this weather system that we have prompted us to call out alert day conditions for Wednesday is taking a southward shift, and we'll be keeping a close eye on that. You'll definitely want to tune into the morning show. Savannah will have the very latest with Future Track and Radar 3000. Storm chances, though, will continue through the end of the week, and if you're concerned about water, areas near the Wisconsin-Illinois border, I do still think you're going to get a good ½ inch to an inch of water tomorrow. And tonight, a couple showers and thunderstorms coming up out of Illinois may get you wet this evening, and that's certainly good news. After a very hot period of temperatures, Saturday, Sunday, going on into Monday, highs in the 90s, lows in the mid to upper 70s. We could be looking at heat index values well over 100 degrees. Next week is looking unsettled. Highs in the upper 70s to lower 80s, still on the muggy side, but good news that we still have that water in the forecast after that hot period, especially for areas that really need it.
I have to correct myself. I said the Cubs and Brewers were playing in Milwaukee. They were playing in Chicago tonight. Your predecessor, Gary, would have corrected me had I said that on it, but he's in Alaska, so he can't correct me tonight. Thanks for watching News 3 Now at 10. The Late Show's next with Stephen Colbert. Next for a newscast tomorrow morning at 4:30. You can always find us streaming, Channel 3000+.